75% of the American people are obese or overweight. 1 in 2 will get cancer. Prostate cancer, men over 60 is a high probability. Suicide amongst children, I think 14 to 21 is number 2. They die of suicide.
Wow.
And so that's a huge thing. That's a human organism being overwhelmed by the environment and the elements that we've been born into, and wanting to kill themselves. Suicide, Harry Carey, right? And so this is an alarm, and all parents should rise up, and anybody that wants to have a family should really rise up and say, whoa, this is the world that we're living in. This is what I have created, especially as a man. We want to take responsibility. We want to take a responsibility as an entrepreneur. You know, you can only look in the mirror. This is what you've created.
Yeah.
So it's up to us, right? Nobody's going to come and save us. If we leave it up to the globalists and the corporations, you know, we're just going to get more of the same, the greed and the avarice and the contamination of the commons.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's really, you know, like Michael Jackson said, it's the man in the mirror. It's an inside job. Hey, it's Troy Casey, certified health nut, reporting live from planet Earth. It's super psycho chicken of cyberspace, your leader.
And I gotta
Having
say,
fun inside the Matrix, man. Inside your rabbit hole.
let's go. And first and foremost, dude, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you driving out. I appreciate you taking the time. My wife's like, I was like, I want to get this freaking Troy Casey guy on. And she's like, just reach out to him. I'm like, really? She's like, just fucking reach out to him. So I reached out to you, sent the DM. You're like, send an email, you know, to this email. We'll see what's up. And then here we are, dude. So thanks so much, man. I appreciate the time. And looking forward to fucking just adding value to our audience from all things health, awareness, mindset, spiritual, the whole nine, dude. I want to go deep.
Super excited, man. Super excited to share. Here to get the world healthy. My mission is to raise human consciousness and change all systems. My vision is clean air, water, soil, and equitable systems for all mankind in my lifetime, baby. I'm here to get her done.
Let's go. And as soon as he walks in, he's like, is this our reverse osmosis? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you have any kind of like minerals? I'm like, oh yeah, I got some Celtic salt for you, bro. You want a lemon too?
I was like, yeah, dude, thanks.
Yeah, and we got the matcha on point too. So the wife will be back when she gets here. I would love to introduce you to her because she's all things about health, awareness, the whole nine. She has her degree in health, nutrition, exercise. She's a PE teacher for like 16 years. So, but she has...
Where does she teach?
So she used to teach San Francisco Galileo High School. And then we used to live in, we were over in California in Hayward before we came here. And then most recently when we came here, she was in Paradise Valley. So Paradise Valley for 2 years just to end her teaching career. We, I don't say retire, she hates that word, but she quit her job 3 years ago. So we both are now out of the 9-to-5 matrix, get to control our lives. We both live and work from home, which is a blessing. I'm almost thinking about taking my daughter out of school is the only thing that's still really connected to the matrix. And we just have people come here. We vibe out, dude, for the Liftoff experience, just to help people just give more awareness. So many people are just they just don't, they're like blinders. They're fed all this shit. You know, you will know all about it. Go follow him. His freaking Instagram's down below. You're going to have a field day of his rabbit hole, I'll tell you right now. Because I've been watching your shit for a while. And I know, you know, Michael, Optimize, and Jesse. And
great guys.
Great guys. And so I told him you're going to be on. He's like, dude, that's a good move. I'm like, thanks, Michael. I appreciate you.
Michael and Jesse are real, genuine humans that optimize community that they've created here in Phoenix. And there's a lot of weird energy here, a lot of Scottsdale Lambo sales bros that are bamboozling people and ripping people off, and just that sales bro energy, you know?
Yes.
And so there's a lot of fake boobs, fake steroids, divorcee, money wannabe. Just it's gross here.
It
There's a
is
lot of it's like LA without the talent, right?
100%.
Which is crazy because at least LA's got some entertainment value, but
I love it.
and it's not all like that, but there's a big percentage of it like that. So to have an oasis like Optimize and the killer community that they have, I've really, after 2.5 years of being here in the Valley, I've really started to connect with my tribe here, and there are some really good people, even though there's a bunch of fake stuff.
Let's go, dude. Hey, are you a real one out there? Or are you trying to sell bullshit? No, but I love that. I'm curious. So,
I mean, it's not just in Scottsdale; it's globally,
it
right?
is globally. I was actually just in California. It's heavy out there.
Oh man, the world's full of shit, right? And I think it says in the Bible that what is it, inverted truth or something, good will be bad and bad will be good, and so things are just very inverted right
Yeah.
now. And when you're doing authentic marketing and branding on the internet, you're still dealing with a slew of populace that is they're expecting bullshit, and
Yeah.
if it doesn't sound and feel like bullshit, then they don't want it, right?
100%,
It's
dude.
not the If
100%.
it's not the truth, they're like, oh my God, do you have any scientific proof for that? Are you a doctor or this and that? And so people are very confused out there on the internet right now. So that's why I love, speaking truth and really just living my truth,
Yeah.
because everybody thinks they've got the truth, but who's actually living it?
Yes, 100%. That is definitely a liftoff moment right there, because that's the thing. Like, we are new. This is a new outfit, new opportunity, and we want to get out there. And it sucks that everything is about, and I've seen you on podcasts too, and they just want to exploit the fucking tabloids, whether it's like, oh, hitting the nuts or whatever it is. And it's just like, that's not what we're about. We like to be able to go deeper from the perspective of like, I see who you are as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And like you talked about the vibe, the tribe, and I'm looking for that tribe. I'm looking to add more value. I'm looking to, you see this like SOPs, KPIs, the corporate business structure, and then you see the spiritual side and then the awareness and how you're taking health to a whole level. And I'm like, how can I bridge these together? Give some more awareness, show people like it's not just about money and fake tits and the bullshit. It's like experience and going out in nature, and you're seeing a shift. And I feel like you're a big part of that.
Yeah, well, my Taoist teacher, sexual kung fu coach, Lauren Johnson, he had two near death experiences, and he said the only currency is virtue. So, truly, what are you doing to honor yourself and then your fellow brothers and sisters?
I love that.
Holistically, instead of just always taking or even using some of these marketing terms of like adding value, but you're actually not adding any value. Right. And so I see this a lot. And the good thing is, I've seen the vision, humanity shifts, things change, and we're seeing that change happen right now. People are sick of the nonsense. They're sick of the lies, the treachery, the scamming, the fraudster, moments. You see that, a lot here and all over the internet. The baller busters are doing a good job busting a lot of that stuff, the fakeness. And so, yeah, it's a great time to be alive.
Amen. Let's go. So, so if you don't know, this man has a book. He used to be Abercrombie and Fitch model. I know you dealt with
Versace model.
Versace. Okay, Versace. Sorry.
And it was a different Diddy party. The Abercrombie and Fitch. it was a different Diddy party. I jest, but kind of not, because there is a lot of sexual predators in that industry, and Abercrombie and Fitch was definitely part of the Epstein situation, and I saw a lot of that, and there was kind of an undertone of that in the modeling industry. I was able to achieve 4 Versace campaigns in my career, and my agent helped Gianni Versace buy that property in 1992 in Miami. I was in the right place at the right time, giving it a real good college try. And how I got into health, as well as really taking care of my instrument, helping me look and feel my best. I got into internal purification, herbal medicine, fasting, and natural eating, and I had real good results with that. And I got into the hedonism of that industry as well for a while. A lot of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and traveling around the world, and then I sobered up, and found Vipassana meditation. And
Mm.
so all my natural medicine studies were really inspired on how to help myself look and feel my best in front of the camera. And I've had
Wow.
35 years in front of the camera now. And so, yeah, very grateful for that industry, even though there was like this hidden Diddy party thing underneath, it was kind of a, sexual innuendo, if you will. And luckily I didn't feed into that, but you only advanced so far.
Mm.
And, but once a Versace model, always a Versace model. And that name did really help make my career, and it still
Wow.
keeps it relevant. And, yeah, and I've kept my instrument. I've kept my body in good shape. My book is the name of my book is #RippedAt50, A Journey to Self-Love. It really tells a lot of my stories in the modeling industry, how I grew up and how I navigated the world. People always ask me, what would you tell your 20-year-old self?
Mm.
And I put it all in the book. Legacy being the most important thing, living a purpose-driven life.
Yes.
And I have one in the car. I want to make sure I get it to
Dude.
you and
Man.
give it to you.
Let's go. I appreciate you.
Should I get it out of the car real quick?
I mean, it's totally up to you. Whatever,
Hold on 1 second.
Let's go. Let's go. I love how Troy he moves fast. He doesn't mess around, and I love I love his energy. Oh yeah, and by the way, behind the scenes we have Jen. I didn't even say anything. His energy was just like, boom, here I am. But what's up, Jen? Behind the scenes,
Hey, I'm here. Yeah, he is. I like him. I like him a lot.
intense, huh?
Awesome.
So Jen is helping us with Liftoff Agent and helping us with scaling and growing the organization that sponsors the Liftoff Experience. And then I was just like, hey, it's Friday. You want to come? You want to help? She's like, sure, I'll come. I'll help. I'm like, let's do this. And here she is. And dude,
That was very fast.
that was super fast. And
Well, I've been doing production in front of the camera for years, so
he's
it's
like, I know.
when things need to get done, I get them done.
Dude.
So, yeah, this is my book, Ripped at 50, A Journey to Self-Love. It came out when I was 53, actually.
Wow.
So a few years ago, it's on Amazon, but the hardcover collector's edition is available only when you see me in person. And but we got it on Audible as well. And this is my one of my main things to get the world healthy. It's got the 9 pillars of health, the 7 factors of stress that destroy health, and the 5 detoxification pathways that restore health. And so,
Wow, dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So I am lucky to have a hard copy. I'm definitely going to be going through this book because I really feel like what you preach and what you talk about is amazing. The cool thing is that talked about earlier, like fucking adding value and all this type of stuff. Like you don't say it, you are it. Every single piece of your content, I feel like is premeditated to just make sure it adds value without even saying you're adding value. I mean, one of the videos I watched was, it was funny. You're talking about the baby and the toe, and how like our feet are put in these socks and these prisons and these shoes, and you
foot
show
prisons.
the foot fucking prisons, dude. You know what I did? I took off my shoes, like, let me try. I was like doing the foot exercise. I'm like, how's my toes look here because of the fucking toe prisons? I love it, dude. So I just love your content, and I love how every single thing is actionable. And I think there's so many people out there that have no idea, from the reverse osmosis and then you putting minerals in your water to everything that you're drinking, like even like the detoxification and drinking your own pee. I'm like, what? Like there's so many things people would totally not even conceptualize.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, Norman, because I'm living in my own little bubble, right? And so I think everybody already knows this information. As an
No.
entrepreneur and as a creator, I've
Yeah.
gone through those types of existential crises.
Mm.
Like everybody knows this. This is common sense your grandmother used to tell you. But clearly most people are not living it. 75% of the American people are obese or overweight. 1 in 2 will get cancer. Prostate cancer, men over 60 is a high probability. Suicide amongst children, I think 14 to 21 is number 2. They die of suicide.
Wow.
And so that's a huge thing. That's a human organism being overwhelmed by the environment and the elements that we've been born into, and then wanting to kill themselves. Suicide, Harry Carey, right? And so this is an alarm, and all parents should rise up, and anybody that wants to have a family should really rise up and say, whoa, this is the world that we're living in. This is what I have created, especially as a man. We want to take responsibility. We want to take a responsibility as an entrepreneur. You can only look in the mirror. this is what you've created.
Yeah.
And so it's up to us, right? Nobody's going to come and save us. If we leave it up to the globalists and the corporations, you know, we're just going to get more of the same, the greed and the avarice and the contamination of the commons.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really, you know, like Michael Jackson said, it's the man in the mirror. It's an inside job.
I love that. And would you say, is there a catalyst in time from your modeling career? I know that you said you were already doing things because you're in front of the camera for so long, but was there a catalyst of where you said, okay, here's the paradigm shift. I'm going to go all in on being the certified health nut. Like, was there a time and place where you're like, this is it for me when you transitioned?
Yeah, well, let me see if I can do it in less than 3 minutes. The the beginning to the end. So, as a model, I had digestive problems. I was bloating. I moved to Milan. I really wanted to give it my good college try and
Okay.
all my effort and have success in the
Mhm.
industry. I treated it like a business. And so I went out there, and my agents were like, "Oh, honey, you're fat," and I'm like, I wasn't fat yesterday. Like, what happened? And then I realized I didn't know anything about nutrition. Went down to the English bookstore, bought books, bought Jethro Kloss's Back to Eden. It's a family heirloom from the 1840s.
Mm.
Started reading that on herbalism, colonics, natural eating, herbs. And then I started to apply this. And I was drinking at the time, and I was eating, you know, pizza. They feed the models pizza and beer and get 'em
Really?
to the nightclubs. Yeah, the nightclubs are owned by the mob, and the agencies are owned by the mob, and you got to pay 50% back to the agencies. It was a very interesting element living in Italy, and so alcohol was free in this industry, and so I started eating natural food, and I instantly got results. I started taking dandelion, which is excellent for the liver,
Okay.
helps flush bile secretion through the liver. And so I took that for like 7 years, and I partied pretty hard. So I started modeling when I was 22. And by the time I was 30, I had a pretty big drinking problem and quit soon after that. And so I went through all of that, started fasting, did my first 10-day juice cleanse when I was 23. I got instant results, looked in the mirror, looked 10 years younger
Wow.
from, you know, partying and all that stuff.
Let's go.
And then and then I was hooked.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then from there, I had a bit of a rock star phase. I did 4 Versace campaigns, and I was traveling back and forth to Japan and Paris and New York, and just having a great old time, and you know, partying a lot. And then what happened was I had to sober up. A lot of my friends would tell me, "Oh, Troy, you're wasting your potential." And, you know, any of you guys have alcoholic friends out there, you know, definitely say something, right? Because it makes a difference.
Yeah.
That is loving and caring
Yeah.
for your fellow brother and sister. Always say something. Be there for them, you know, otherwise, but always say something, because people can clean up their life. After
Amen.
hearing it hundreds of times, I finally threw in the towel. I started going to AA. Step 11 is meditation. I found Vipassana meditation through that. Vipassana meditation was one of the, because it took me 4.5 years to go through AA, and that didn't really work for me. But when I started meditating, I did 10-day courses in silence, and that changed my life. From there, I started working with an herbal company in the Amazon rainforest. And concurrently, I worked with Maori healers from New Zealand, really powerful indigenous healers. They step on your nerve centers and just really release a lot of pain and trauma inside the body. And then I started drinking ayahuasca with the Shipibo Indians in the Amazon. I was working with an herbal company as well, and I just had a revolutionary mind shift on each one of these things. Working with the Maori blew my mind. Drinking ayahuasca and taking Amazon herbs into my body blew my mind. Doing Vipassana meditation was amazing. And I did 11 10-day courses in silence, so like 111 days over the span of 6 years. And so these things helped wake me up. And I was in the Amazon in 2006, and I had 3 very profound visions. And the first vision was an amalgamation of my on-camera career, natural medicine studies, and I was doing stand-up comedy at the time. And
Really?
Certified Health Nut was born in the middle of the Amazon. The second one was of my family. And when I was down in the rainforest, I hadn't been around all these Latin American children before, and they would come up to you and they were just so darling, and to look into their eyes, and it was just amazing. You know, up here we've got the milk carton kids and people getting abducted. I didn't have nephews and nieces, so I never hung out with children, and I was about 40 at this time. And I saw these children, they were so beautiful. I was like, I got to have my own kids.
Wow.
So the spirit of my daughter came to me in one of the visions, and I wasn't married. I wasn't in a relationship. She was my second child. And so these visions have been unfolding. My daughter's 14 now. My son's 17.
Let's go. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. Beautiful.
And then my third vision is that humanity makes it from the precipice of ecological disaster. Leaving the rainforest at that time, I saw mountains of sawdust. I heard the stories of rainforest deforestation, how important that ecosystem is, the death of hundreds of species just in my lifetime, and then knowing that it's up to me as a man. I have my own personal responsibilities with the gifts that God gave me. And so it's up to me to make change in the world.
Amen.
And that's what Certified Health Nut is all about.
Wow, dude. All right, first off,
How many minutes was that?
that was like, what was that, Jed? Like 4 minutes, 30 seconds? That was freaking Liftoff, bro. Holy Toledo's. The fact that you went from like that to this and the extremes within like 10, like you went on for a long time in silence.
Yes.
That's tremendous. I mean, you said 110 days?
Yeah, over the span of 6 years, I would sit about 2 Vipassana courses a year.
Wow.
I haven't sat one in a while, and I actually have an itch to do one as well. It's very powerful. 10 days in silence, 10, 12 hours of meditation a day.
Wow. Okay. Absolutely phenomenal. Beautiful. I love it. I want to do something for the alcoholics out there. I want to put a perspective out there. Okay. There's this, how do I say it? Like they say that like when you say I am an alcoholic and you go through that process and you go through the steps and then you're labeled that for the rest of your life.
I don't like that. That didn't work for me.
That's exactly what I want to get at right now, because I know that there's family and members and people that I have in my personal life, and I just want to give you a different perspective on that subject matter. So what is your ideologies from the perspective of when someone calls themselves an alcoholic for the rest of their life?
So I do my best not to have so many beliefs, Norman, because that keeps me stuck, right?
Ooh.
And so I like the idea that I am a child of God, right?
Okay,
We're all children of God, and sometimes we fall, and it's a good idea to seek out others that can help lift you back up, right?
Got it.
And there's plenty of good people around us. So once you start admitting I'm an alcoholic, I'll always be an alcoholic, this starts being a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I would see this in the rooms, and people would step outside of that. And there's no disrespect to people in AA, but I think the results I think there's about a 5% success rate, right?
Okay.
And so, and don't get me wrong, because I got good stuff out of those rooms.
Yeah.
There's plenty of dysfunction, like with all human systems. There's always going to be dysfunction. There's always going to be challenges. There's also going to be understanding semantics and the way people run their program.
Got
right? Where the rubber meets the road with that program, and there is a ton of great stuff in the 12 steps programs. But where the rubber really meets the road is, doing a list of, taking inventory of who and what you are, who you wronged, and asking for forgiveness there. I think there's a cleanliness process that happens with there. There's a purification process. It really helps you look in the mirror, back to the mirror analogy, and take stock and responsibility with your onus. Well, like, what's your responsibility?
Yeah.
And then from there, admitting your faults, and then being able to do that. Now, in our society today, you can end up being a doormat, because if you take responsibility in this world, people will be like, yeah, but you're a fuck up, and this is why, and they'll use it against you, right? Which is that puts you in a very vulnerable spot.
Yeah.
So you want to pay attention to who you're hanging out with and who you're opening yourself up to psychically.
Okay.
Because people can abuse you in that realm. And so take responsibility, admit when you're wrong, but keep moving, right? And don't beat yourself up, because I see, many of my students and clients, they come from this self beat up. You see a lot of this coaching on the internet, and you see these Navy SEAL type like boot camps, and yelling and screaming at people and putting them down for being a schlep. And that's not really what we need to do to human beings, because what I've discovered with human beings is they beat themselves up.
Yeah.
Society is programming them to sit down, shut up, consume, conform, and comply. That's your educational system right there. Then you've got all these television commercials telling you you're
Let's go.
telling
He's
you
so fast.
how fucked up you are if you don't buy their shit, right?
Yeah.
So it's all this is marketing, right?
Mhm.
It's programming that hooks us. And the Lambo bros and the internet marketers have hooked into that as well. It's psychological marketing. Edward Bernays used all the Freud technology, which was his uncle, and took this into marketing and PR, public relations marketing, and a book that Edward Bernays wrote in, I think, the early 1920s called Propaganda. And this is the psychological manipulation, the psychological warfare that human beings went through in the 20th century. And it's, it's only gotten more intense. As time has gone on, you can look at the CIA Operation Mockingbird, which is about the news media, the fake news media. Then you've got MK Ultra, which is the programming and the utilization of free sex, psychedelics, drugs, all these movements of debauchery. And I'm not saying that there's not good exploration with some drugs, but everything just seems to get commercialized, watered down, and adulterated, right? On one level or another. And so I think there's good application with natural medicine and herbs, even psychedelics, and possibly marijuana. But marijuana's been destroyed these days. What you're getting in the dispensary is a facsimile of what the natural plant was there to give us in the first place. And things like Rick Simpson oil does have application, but people aren't growing outdoors. They're growing on lights. Like, what does that do to a fucking plant? To fucking feed it fucking methamphetamines and fucking fluorescent light. You smoke it and you put it in a vape with hexane, and it's made in China, and then you light it on fire, and it's got all these other chemicals in it, and then you get kids walking around, they're fucking flip the fuck out, right?
Yes.
And so it's mindfulness on all of these substances. And so, but these CIA operations, they're designed to confuse us and to break us down and to defer to authority. And so breaking out of the matrix, is a full-time job.
Yeah.
I forgot how I got into what
we're talking about AA and people calling themselves and identifying that I am an alcoholic.
Yeah, because then you're going to identify where you're always going to be sick. And the bottom line is you're a child of God, and sometimes we fall. It's a good idea to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, get some good tools underneath your belt. Some sobriety definitely works. If you're going to, most people are self-medicating when they're out of balance, and they're out of balance because the soil has been depleted. Only 4 to 6% of the food on the market is organic. And so most people aren't even putting pure food into their body. You add to it, they're not putting pure water into their body. Fluoride, chlorine, chloramide, all these things affect your gut microbiome. If you're in a shower and you're taking, you're absorbing the fluoride, you're absorbing the chlorine. This is affecting your gut microbiome because your gut microbiome is not just in your body, it's on your skin as well. And so these things are all interrelated, and we're so far removed and domesticated from nature, and nature does have all the solutions. We've just denatured the world. We're living in this commercial, new and improved tide with phthalates and plastic clothing and synthetic microwave day glow crap that's all scientifically validated. And then we wonder why we're all sick. We're not only sick physically, but seriously mentally ill. And and then they put you on SSRIs, or you put your children in a school and they feed them crap, and they put fluorescent lights on them, and they put them in boxes, and they tell them to sit down and shut up. And then the kids like me, dude, I'm going to get out of my chair. I'm going to start talking, and I want to interact and scream and yell as a child. And then, boy, oh boy, they wanted to put you on Ritalin. And what do they put kids on now? SSRIs. And then what is it? 100% of all the school shootings, these proxy children have been on SSRIs, right? So are these false flag activations? I don't know. I mean, I've seen plenty of reports on the internet. I'm curious to what other people think in the comments section.
Yeah, for sure.
What is this like Lee Harvey Oswald? You activate some kind of patsy, and then you try and cover it up, and then the CIA creates something, a linguistic term like conspiracy theory, to negate anyone that's questioning the official report of the JFK assassination.
Yep.
And has this been going on? If they did that in 1963, what are they doing now?
Yes.
I mean, all these false flags that we've seen and witnessed, and then if you question that, they crucify you. And so if you question almost anything, and I question
Everything.
like anything that's on the news, anything that's on the news.
I'm right there with you.
The fact that they lambast Donald Trump is like, holy shit. Well, maybe that guy fucking is trying to do something.
Yes.
Dismantling.
And I
things
see you're a
now.
big supporter of JFK and what have you on that side. And do you feel that we're moving in the right direction finally?
Well,
Kinda.
I mean, only time will tell.
It's
like everyone else is beholden to Israel, and there's a bunch of Mossad, Epstein list, Diddy party situations going on there.
Yeah.
Like the blackmail. Who's that lady that wrote the blackmail book that Ian Carroll talks about all the time? I think that's a good read for everyone. Also, Joe Rogan had Dr. Suzanne Humphreys, Destroying Illusions. I mean, I've been talking about vaccines and medical freedom for, health freedom, medical freedom for years, and work with RFK. They were trying to take away the constitutional right for religious freedom and religious exemptions in California back in 2016, 2017. So I worked with Children's Health Defense and was a huge advocate against SB 277 and SB 276 in California. They were trying to take away these rights for these human rights. So the totalitarian tiptoe in California has been happening a long time, just before COVID even busted out.
Yeah.
And so I'm here to question all aspects of reality. And I believe that we are all children of God, that nature heals everything, and that my solutions for saving the planet are aligned with biomimicry, which states life creates conditions conducive for life. So a coral reef will use information and resources in its natural environment and build something that's stronger than cement. A spider will take something at aqueous solution, room temperature, and its local environment, and make something 5 times the strength of steel, a spider web. So we can create things, we can mimic nature. And right now, we're not mimicking nature. We're copying industrialists. Right? And if you look at the history of John D. Rockefeller and his monopolies and what he tried to do, and who started the AMA and who started the UN, this is all about control. And the jig is up, right? We've got the internet now. The information is here.
Yep.
The question is what we're doing with the information, and who are you as a man? Are you abdicating your responsibility to wait for RFK or Trump to change the world, or are you here to change the world?
Amen.
So I'm not waiting for any politician to make a difference.
Nope.
Now I've seen the vision that humanity makes it. So as all men have always known what's on the horizon to eat and what potentially could eat him, it's like I am waiting for signals to know that good things are happening because I've seen the visions. And so when I see my platform for the last 20 years, I've been on YouTube since 2006, and the last 19 years, 2 decades. When I see my platform being grandstanded with the MAHA movement, Make America Healthy Again, my mission is to get the world healthy.
Yeah.
Clean the air, water, and soil, right? Build remediation systems.
Yeah.
Advocate for purity, efficacy, integrity in everything that we're doing. Real science, not research bias.
Yep.
Not faux science.
Yep.
And so follow the science, not the scientism. Right? Follow the science as long as it's aligned with whatever the man in the white coats are trying to say and sell you, right? Which is dysfunction, which is pharmaceutical drugs, which is drug cartels run the world. Drug cartels and banking cartels, they're all intertwined. And so how do we break up the matrix? Or how do we don't even fight the system, right? Buckminster Fuller said you don't change the existing system by fighting it. You come over here and you design the future, and that will fall away to the wayside. And there's enough of a movement that's already happening with this. Dr. Zach Bush is on the front lines. Dr. Joe McCullough has been on the front lines of this. Dr. Dietrich Klinghardt, Dr. Edward Group, Sayer G, greenmedinfo.com. There's plenty of people. Indigenous cultures have been working on this for a long time. And even the best of the best, we've all gotten a little, fucked up like pasta primavera. Depends on where we're at. Not everybody understands the vaccine situation.
Yeah.
Not everyone understands the geopolitical situation.
Yeah.
Not everybody understands the chlorine in the water and the fluoride in the water.
No.
They don't understand the chemtrails. They can't put it all together.
But now's their time to understand.
This is the time.
This is the time.
It's coming out.
It's coming out.
Cancel Ian Carroll is good on Instagram and he's on Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
He's on X Twitter. He makes really good videos. Really just exposing stuff that you can easily search with Google. And Google's not a good search if you want the truth. But he finds stuff on Google, takes pictures of it, uses the TikTok app. He showed me how he did this on his phone. Uses a green screen and he questions. It's kind of like Joe Rogan presents it. I've heard, have you checked this out? Have you seen this? Have you heard that?
Yes.
As opposed to saying this is the way it is. I mean, everything for me is up for question, because if most of human beings are sick, fat, sick, and nearly dead, and that is the norm, and that's grown exponentially since I've started Certified Health Nut. 75% of the American people being obese or overweight is close to 100%. I'm part of the 100%. My children are part of the 100%. If I don't do something, who's going to change the world? And you are what you eat, and food is medicine. These are axioms that are not going away anytime ever. And we need natural food to rebuild our tissues. We need to lower stress levels to get good sleep, to go through the anabolic phase, to repair ourselves, to heal ourselves. We get back to the natural rhythms of life, circadian rhythms, grounding. Sunlight is the source of all life on planet Earth. So we want to get sunlight. I make a post on TikTok that I don't wear sunscreen for decades. I don't wear sunglasses for decades. I get copious amounts of sun, and people want to call the police on me. It's just like this.
Don't call the police.
I should be free to not put toxic crap all over my lymphatic system and the largest organ in my body. Like, I should be free enough to do that. But literally, people on TikTok want to call the police or flag me for misinformation. No, this is what I do. I'm not telling you what to do. This is what I do for decades upon decades. And so the world has gotten weird, and this is classical psychological warfare. And Yuri Brezmenov talked about this KGB operative that was interviewed in 1984. And you can find these on YouTube as well. It's quoted by Joe Rogan quite often. And so this is just a great time of awakening. And this is a clarion call. And I work with a lot of men. I work with women as well, but many of the men really resonate with what I'm talking about. And this is a clarion call to all men that are out there. Like, it's time to straighten up. It's time to purify the body and the mind and be responsible for the future of humanity, because you are the only ones that can carry it forth, right?
Let's go, dude. Hey, this whole episode is Liftoff, okay? We're not even going to have like Liftoff segments. It's the whole thing's Liftoff. But no, it's so true. And that's why I wanted to have you on the show, so people could really understand like where we're going and what's the purpose of this process, because there is a huge shift. And I don't know if you ever got into the Dolores Cannon stuff at all, but there's hearsay that like we were already supposed to be fucking reset. But I feel that there's people like yourself and a lot of individuals out there that are helping us change consciousness so we can be more aware to get to the next level. And I feel like we're now going down that path, and you're a huge catalyst to this whole process.
Well, I do believe that the shift has happened. I mean, I studied the Mayan calendar, all approaching, 2012. My big awakening really happened from Vipassana meditation was 1999. I worked in the Amazon, 2005, early, mid 2000s. Started working with the Maori around the same time. So a big catalyst was from 1999 on, and my four major solutions, because I'm into marketing. I'm into entertainment. I'm into marketing, because you look at
Me too.
you look at Kardashian consciousness, or all these rappers, they get people's attention.
Oh yeah.
So it obviously works. Doing the shiny object works. And so I borrow, parts of, I'm a classically trained actor. I did stand-up comedy for a while. I borrow parts of entertainment to educate people. My Certified Health Nut company and brand is an education platform. It's a media platform.
Yeah.
And so you want to get people's attention. So I developed, excuse me.
And congratulations on the 400,000 plus on the Instagram. I saw that.
Thank you so much. I
course.
have a great team. And so, where was I? So,
He's like, wait, hold on here. No, we're going into.
So I create these marketing ideas. They come to me. I'm like, how, what direction? I'm a visionary, and so I'm like, all right, what? It's like making hit records. Like, what video can I make next that's going to inspire people? What book can I write?
Yeah.
Next, what media can I create that's gonna tweak people? They're gonna be like, what? Wait a second, it's gonna put a glitch in the matrix, And obviously, I reached that when I was advocating for freedom during all this mask psychosis bullshit that we went through.
Oh my God.
2020, 2021.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid. I love the ancient Ayurvedic practice of Shivambu, which is urine therapy. That blows people's fucking minds, and that's great because I don't have a problem talking about it. I'm not a huge advocate. People don't need to do this. I'm just going to tell you that I do it. So I keep dreaming up ideas, and I didn't dream up urine therapy. Somebody just asked me, and I don't have a problem talking about it. Slapping my balls was something that my friend Rhino Ryan Hughes, the motocross champion of the world, sent me a video. I was like, that's fucking interesting. And I know that's good for circulation. And I cross-referenced it with my sexual kung fu teacher. And he's like, yeah, rolling, kneading, slapping. What? And I was like, okay, great. And so I started slapping my balls after I was doing ice baths. And
roll that tape.
and it went viral. Right. And so, some things you can plan and some things you don't plan. But every year that the circus comes to town, in 2016, when Trump started running and I saw the bamboozlement with Obama, hope and change. Who doesn't want that from the neocons, right? George Bush and the false flag he did with 9/11 and all that stuff, or whatever the hell happened when NORAD stood down and whatever that shenanigans was. And his dad was part of the CIA, and Alan Dulles and all his, Herbert Walker Bush, helped fund the Nazis with oil, and their relationship with what is that fucking guy in Afghanistan that they try and kill or supposedly killed, the Bin Laden Foundation or something.
Yeah.
Whatever this fucking shit was. I'm like, okay, you motherfuckers. Okay, black man, White House. I'm like, oh, that looks good. Hope and change. And then total fucking hoodwink on that. And then I'm like, what? And then I was like, all right. And then I see this Trump guy coming along, and I'm like, all right, man, that's fucking pretty radical because he's not a politician. I was like, that's interesting. And so I was like, all right, if the circus is coming to town every 4 years, I'm creating my own circus. I'm running for president of planet Earth.
Let's go.
And it's a real campaign. I've got my own platform, right? And if you didn't get the memo, I've been president of planet Earth for the last fucking 4 seasons, the last 2 seasons.
Let's go.
2016. And so it's a real campaign. My hashtags to save planet Earth are free energy, the gift economy, self-care education, and permaculture. These 4 things will save planet Earth. We are living in an oil top-down oligarchy, and the oil is intertwined with the banksters, which is pegged to the petrodollar, which is pegged to petrochemical byproducts or in pharmaceutical drugs and herbicides and pesticides. So you got commercial ag, you've got oil, you've got media that keeps everything into place, the mockingbird media, the fake news media. And then you've got weapons that keeps the war and the oil flowing. And then you've got pharmaceutical drugs. And this is the 5 multinational conglomerates that keep everything in place.
Did you know?
And to subjugate that is free energy. You bring in Tesla Technology, JP Morgan, another bankster cartel member that, he funded Tesla. Then when Tesla said, yeah, free energy, harmless, abundant, free energy for everyone. And it's like, how can you meter that? How can we control the people? And he's like, no, this will set the people free. And they fucking put the whole shebang to his whole thing, right?
No, we're not doing that.
Right? So, and then Elon Musk, for whatever you think of him, he names his car company after this man. So Tesla Technology, or let's say Cold Fusion, and the physicists were working on that in the 80s.
Yeah,
Cold Fusion. And so whether it's Cold Fusion, 0 point technology, electrogravitics, harmonics, whatever these spaceships are flying around on. And I'm not a big alien guy, but look, the possibility is there, right? Because if you look at if you look at the quantum physicists, they're saying all possibilities, multiple realities, right?
Yep.
Right here, right now.
Yep.
And we are the future aliens, or or the past alien, whatever you want to call, ancient aliens, whatever you want to call it.
I got him behind you.
There you go, man. Big shout out to Brent Pella and his blue alien guy. And so free energy will subjugate the whole oligarchy, and we don't need drugs. If you look at the Flexner report that changed all this in Rockefeller medicine, you know, this is all antithetical to what God has presented for us on the planet. And
Yep.
this is where self-care education comes in. When we teach how to take care of the human being body, breathing, hydration, nutrition, thinking, how the mind works, you teach this as basic fundamental principles.
Yes.
Your human instrument is naturally going to take care of itself and its own real estate, and then the natural environment that is around it that's affecting its own health.
Yes.
So self-care education, the gift economy, we're all children of God. We all have unique gifts. Who's going to clean the toilets? Well, we can get AI to clean the toilets. I thought AI is the second coming of Christ, right? If you look on the internet, AI, all hail AI, you know, but we get technology to be our whipping boy.
Yes.
So, and I'm not afraid to clean the toilets if I get to live in a utopian society, or I don't believe in utopia, but the bottom line is we can create systems that are harmonic and dynamic.
Yes.
And human beings can create peace and harmony.
Yes.
I postulate, I raise my hand. I say, we can have that potential. I believe in that. You can have war and strife and chemicals in the food and chronic disease with children and adults and at 50% levels. And you can believe in that. And
Yes.
I can believe in this over here. And I believe that it's completely possible. If you believe it's possible, then put a comment in the box below. And this
Let's
is how
go.
we're going to change the world. And so free energy, gift economy, self-care education, and permaculture. Food is fucking free, guys. When we tend to the soil, we remediate the soil, we drop a seed in the ground, you plant food forests, and then somebody needs to harvest it. We need to harvest it, bring
AI,
it to market.
bro.
AI, back to the Jesus AI, right?
Fucking harvest that shit.
Our savior. And so the bottom line is anything's possible. If the Wright brothers can fly like an eagle when everybody said they were absolutely batshit fucking crazy and no man will ever fly, and Steve Jobs can put a handheld computer in every man's hand so he can save the world, thanks Steve Jobs. If he
Thank you.
can do that and the Wright brothers can do that, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, we can achieve.
Napoleon Hill.
Napoleon Hill, from all the industrial magnates that he studied during
Amen.
the 20th century. So the mind, this is all mind anyways. Everything that you see that's not nature was made in the mind of man.
Yes.
If we can create all this technology and all this plastic crap from China, imagine what we can really create if we put our hearts combined with our mind.
Yes.
The biggest
yes,
journey
yes,
is from
yes.
the mind to the heart.
Dude, 100%. I absolutely love that. And it's interesting how just the breath alone, you can get high from the breath. This morning, I went to the gym. I didn't have to work out. I just literally just did all therapies, cold plunge, red light therapy, breath work. I did the compression. I was done and I was high. I felt absolutely phenomenal all morning long. You don't need fucking LSD and smoking weed and drinking alcohol and none of that type of stuff. And so many people are like, oh, they come home from their job and they're just stressed the fuck out and they're drinking this alcohol and they hate their life and all the things. Here's your answer.
Well, that's what I was talking about before. People self-medicate when they're out of balance.
Yes.
So if they're not getting the proper food, hydration, breathing, movement, sleep, etc. Once they feel out of balance, they grab for the socially acceptable drugs and alcohol.
You relate?
And maybe they get an injury and they got on Oxycontin and they're addicted to fentanyl now because they couldn't get another Oxycontin script.
Yep.
And so this is a big problem.
Huge.
And so get back to nature as much as possible. I help people save time and money at the grocery store. I work with an organic herbal and superfood company. We ship nutrients from our farm straight to your door. So the organic component is available if you want it, if you need it. Optimize your water. We had a water conversation as soon as I got here.
Yep.
And so you've already got filtered water with most of the crap that's filtered out of it. I threw a little bit of lemon and salt in there.
Celtic salt.
And yeah, high quality salt, and structured the water. We can help to balance ourselves, and then you don't need drugs. You can get high on your own supply.
Yes.
You can do breath work.
Yes.
You can do exercise as the drug of choice. You can manage and mitigate your dopamine scrolling.
And half of the diseases out there, right? The issues are in the tissues, because not only if you're self-medicating, you're also having stress, you're having anxiety, you're having issues, and then your body's manifesting these illnesses because of the fact that it's off. It's not
You're out of balance.
You're out of balance. You're not alkalized, like you said. Oh, the water, is it alkalized? Yes, it is.
And you can put yourself back into balance by aligning yourself with nature. Now, it is a bit of a full-time job in the discordant, domesticated, contaminated world that we've created.
Okay.
We've pumped billions of pounds of toxic compounds into the environment every single year since the dawn of the industrial age. And so I think atrazine is manufactured by the Chinese, and I do believe it's some ungodly number, like 70,000 million gallons of atrazine we purchased from China and put it into our atmosphere. And as Alex Jones said, it makes the frogs gay.
Oh my God.
So if you're putting pesticides and herbicides, which are designed to take out the endocrine system, the hormonal system, and the reproductive system of pests and herbs, so they can't replicate, quote unquote, weeds. What does low-level, long-term exposure do to the human being? Well, let's look at the fertility rates.
Same thing.
And it's plummeting. Let's look at testosterone rates, plummeting. And so, yeah, all that scientifically validated Fauci scientism may not be so follow the science as you would like to think.
100%. And all they're doing is they're basically fucking with the ecosystem. They're making everything out of balance. Did you hear about testosterone in electric vehicles? Apparently, electric vehicles lowers testosterone in men.
Well, yes, and I work with a company that helps manage and mitigate that. They had these Russian scientists that developed it for Russian soldiers that were working around radar stations. And so if you go up to a cell phone tower, there's warnings to stay away from it. Plants, animals, and humans, it's a danger zone.
Wow.
I hiked the McDowell Mountains here, and last year I brought my team up there, and you get up there and there's these radio towers and cell phone towers up there. And sure enough, there's big warning signs. And we don't think about it. We think, oh, that's bullshit, Troy, those invisible EMFs, that's bullshit. And then we're like, my fucking phone doesn't work, right? Or I got a call on my phone, or I got a text message. Well, those invisible forces are actually feeding all the ding-dongs notifications that you're getting on your phone right now. So obviously, there is something going on as far as wireless technology. It has an effect. What effect might it have on your body? Well, go to RFK's foundation that he started. He's no longer a part of politically, but Children's Health Defense. He sued the FCC for 5G technology. There's been no official reports on how this affects us, and it's millimeter waves.
Wow.
Like microwave ninja millimeter waves that penetrate your body, mind, and consciousness. And so, of course, there's always an effect. And so look what people are dealing with. Most people, again, fat, sick, and nearly dead. It's rare that I see a group of people that are healthy. Big shout out to Jesse and Michael over at Optimize again, because I actually got an IV. I got some NAD plus.
Oh.
Which is a 4-hour IV. So for a week long, I sat in the IV place across from Optimize in North Phoenix.
Okay.
And I watched all their customers come in.
Wow.
And the posture and the alignment and the awareness and the health of their customer base was profound.
Wow, let's go. Shout out. That's fucking awesome.
I mean, I was sitting in a chair getting an IV and watching these people come and get out of their car and their posture, and maybe they had hiking gear and like they were out of their foot prisons.
Yes.
They would come in and go and they'd look fresh and they'd shake hands and they'd talk and the energy was high, and you don't see that in the public today.
No.
Go out to a concert. I went to the Kevin Hart concert right after Schmovid happened, and this was like 2022, and it was like The Walking Dead, man.
Yes.
It was really, really bad.
Dude, I was at the gym today and they're starting to do now. EOS has like the cold plunge and like the infrared and like the compression. And they're like, oh, what are these other guys going to do? I'm like, well, these other guys have community. Like you can't get away from community.
Yep.
And what Optimize has built with their community and their people, it's on a total different level than like you going to the gym and just doing cold plunge or therapy. It is amazing. And it's like, get around those people.
Community is directly related to longevity.
Yes.
It's
100%.
essential.
Mhm.
It's essential. You want to be healthy and vital, you're definitely going to need a community.
Yes.
And I offer that completely. I mean, that's why I love the Psycho Chickens. And the Psycho Chicken, if you don't know, is you are the sum total of greatness and the sum total of darkness. And we're always expressing ourselves exactly as we find ourselves in the moment. Most people would like to shove the darkness under the carpet, right? But whatever you shove under the carpet festers. This is why the Catholic Church, when they squash the human being urge to have sex, and all these priests are celibate or whatever they are, they start diddling, young boys. Right? So don't push your humanness under the carpet because it will fester out. You express yourself and you honor yourself as a full dynamic human being. We have two forces: yin, yang, masculine, feminine, inhalation, exhalation, catabolic, anabolic, good, bad, etc. And so you want to honor who you are. You want to honor your dark side and acknowledge it and then integrate it. And then that way it doesn't run you.
Ooh, that was freaking fire. It is so true because I think can you relate? Comment below. I mean, you put stuff under the rug, you just sweep it away, but you have to honor it. And that's one thing that I do have at times. Thoughts come in and I'm like, what the fuck's this thought? What is, I just think about it. I'm like, deter, have faith. What are you committed to? My whole body, I have it all on me. Go big or go home and shit. Like
to remind yourself.
To remind myself,
like
what am I committed
memento.
to? Yeah.
Like, who am I? What am I doing? Oh, yeah. Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that one. Oh, shit.
What the fuck am I doing? I am word, right? I am love. Yeah. So no, I love that shit, dude. 100%. And that's why, honestly, I'm very grateful for you coming in because I just love your work and just being in your presence. I mean, this guy's energy is on a whole other level. And then Jen was even supposed to be here and she's like, yeah, maybe I will come. I'm like, all right, cool. And then, so yeah, I fucking love it, dude, because I want to be a part of what you're doing and help people, help consciousness get to that next level of awareness. I love it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've done everything online that I possibly can do, and I continue to do that work. And we've created an online community called Knowledge of Self University. All knowledge is knowledge of self, right? If your ideas in your head can't be integrated and embodied in your body, let them go. It's like Bruce Lee said, you study with everyone, take what's useful, discard the rest, make it uniquely your own. If you can't embody it, it's just a friggin' idea that's taking up space. And so
that's good.
So don't be a walking, talking head. Don't be a bumper sticker.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Apply your knowledge. Knowledge applied is true power. And so we've created this. We have almost 1,000 students right now, and we're building this out to 100,000 students. And it's really just a journey of self-discovery.
Wow. Congratulations. And how long have you been going through this process of building this amazing ecosystem of individuals that want to help?
Well, Certified Health Nut is 19 years old. It's probably more close to 20 because there was ideas being incubated. But in July of 2006, I had the vision.
Okay.
And so, and it's been unfolding ever since. Same with my family. I had the vision of my children, my daughter, and it's been unfolding ever since. And so, and it's just been layers of culmination. When I came out of the jungle and digital communications was brand new, digital phones, they didn't even exist.
Wow.
And then I moved to Hollywood in 1997. You had to beg for a piece of film from like a USC student film. They had to raise $70,000 to $100,000. It was $70,000 to rent a Panavision truck for the day. Panavision is how you shot film.
Yeah.
And you had to get a crew to operate it and then film it and then get it back and have it look good at all was a miracle. And so filmmaking was so expensive. And within a decade, The MacBook Pros or the MacBooks came out, the editing software,
Yeah.
cameras, even though it was 70, maybe 360p.
Yeah.
These are all brand new. So I came out of the
Wow.
jungle with all this new technology, and YouTube was a brand new distribution platform. I'm like, woo! I'm Hollywood in a box, baby.
Let's go.
So that's been unfolding. You know, my community used to be in the comment section of
Yeah.
YouTube, and then Facebook came out in 2007, and then Instagram came out, I think, 2012 or 10 or something. And then, you know, it's just been unfolding and unfolding, and so, and now we have Circle and school apps as well. I have a couple communities on those platforms, and then it continues to unfold. And obviously, the social media platforms, you know, they've been created or infiltrated by the CIA and Stanford and Silicon Valley's right there. And so,
Yeah.
you want to look at the flickering speed of the frequencies coming out of the computer screens and all that stuff. I mean, you got to watch it, right? This is where the yin and the yang comes in. You got to be a ninja to navigate the technology. You can use it for good, or you can use it for, you know, more of the same sinister nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. That's why I want to have balance myself too. Like I was talking to my business partner earlier today. I'm like, I'm gonna go take our travel trailer and just go out in the middle of nowhere. I'm gonna go up north and just like get Starlink, work out there for a little bit, and just be in nature. And just because obviously you can see this room is pretty tech, plastic, lights, all the things here is very heavy, and so having that yin is so important for sure. And I love how those thousands of people. I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, oh, those are your campaignees, right? They're all there helping you with your campaign because you know you're the president of the world.
Yeah, and you know,
I love that.
Sometimes those numbers are a little inflated as well. Like, I'm not the most favorable algorithm person because remember, drug companies and oil companies, most of business in the world is subsidized by drug companies, right? Which is intertwined with insurance, which is intertwined with hospitals. Look at the whole Valley of the Sun, the Phoenix area, right?
Yeah.
This is medical tourism on steroids for the United States of America. You got the Mayo Clinic, you got Banner Health, you got Honor Health. And so you've got all these private hospitals and all of this stuff. And that system is designed to maim people and keep them sick and buying their goods and services, which is cut, burn, and poison. And not that some of that doesn't have some applications sometimes, but if we're looking at holistic health and egalitarian health and real true healing, you're going to get that from the opposite direction. And like I said, algorithmically, like who owns what? I told you already, this is an oil top-down situation. Who created the American Medical Association? The Rockefellers did. And so who created the WHO? The Rockefellers did. The UN. You know, all these systems that we saw during 2020 and the whole pandemic situation. And your editors are going to probably want to edit vaccines, COVID, any of that stuff that we want to talk about, because the free speech, the law of the land of the United States of America, our God-given rights written down on a piece of paper, doesn't completely exist, right? You can't just speak truth. You can't just speak your mind.
Yeah.
And so, look, if it's cockamamie, let people speak it.
Yes.
Why not?
Yeah.
Right?
Your vibe creates your tribe. The people that want to see the shit will see it.
Yeah, it's going to be exposed for bullshit. But if you're putting free speech and you're limiting people's free speech that are questioning what's really going on, schmovid, the quaxines, all this stuff, and lo and behold, what's happening with those mRNAs? There's spike proteins, and these are creating all sorts of problems. Dr. Brian Ardis is talking extensively about this. Dr. Edward Group. There's a movie called #Died Suddenly. You know, the clot shot is the nickname for it. You've got myocarditis. You've got, you know, myocarditis even in young people is like a major issue. Anyways, so the references are there. And if you want to go into the direction of health, where you're going to go in the complete opposite direction of that. And again, I'm living testament to Buckminster Fuller, who was a engineer from the 20th century, very, very intelligent brother. And he simply said, you don't fight the existing system. You go in the opposite direction and you create the future. You design the future. And the future is back to nature in as many facets as possible and using technology as our whipping boy. There's only 4 human needs, as they're selling all this plastic crap from China and things on commercials that we absolutely don't fucking need.
Yep.
New and improved Tide and yoga pants that are giving people fertility issues, climbing up your vagina and contaminating that, and men's testicles and polyester pants and all this garbage. And so, the opposite direction is health. Getting out of your foot prisons, getting grounded to the earth, wearing natural fiber clothing, eating natural food, supporting local organic farmers, drinking pure water, advocating for clean skies. This is the antidote, and living that instead of just speaking it. This is you don't need another 3-hour Huberman or Peter Attia podcast and be like, oh my God, all that fucking science, like mental masturbation. Like, oh yeah, give me more. And then they don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Right. They've got millions of followers and they're like, I know it all. I'm like, yeah, and big shout out to Huberman. He's definitely an interesting guy, but he also comes from Stanford. Is he a plant? I don't know. I don't know about the Andrew Tates of the world and all these people that rise to complete fame and, Insta fame and stuff like that. And, and like who's really propped up by the systems. And I'll tell you, my algorithm, it's not the most popular algorithm. I've been on social media for 20 years and it's hard to get a witness.
Yeah.
And I know how to make viral content as well. And so, and I'm not playing the victim by any means. I keep at it.
Yes.
I'm the Energizer bunny rabbit.
No way.
I'm going to continue to create content and crack the code. I will crack the algorithm.
Hell yeah.
No matter what.
I love that. I love that.
Ian Carroll already did it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I mean, at the end of the day, I've been talking truth for a long time. We set up my daughter with an account. I had like a Facebook page with 5,000 people, Instagram with 10,000 plus. And I was going deep in like the kind of just question, just fucking question, And the next thing you know, all my shit got shut down. And they said it's because, I set up an account for my daughter and she was not the right age and she can't have her own account. And because I was associated, so my account, everything got shut down. What the Okay, here we go again. So like 3 years. This was just 3 years ago.
Well, 3 years ago was in the height of Schmovid.
Oh, it was horrible. Yeah.
Well, and then of course Zuckerberg is now practicing jiu-jitsu, so his manhood's getting raised up a little bit. He's got well,
oh my God.
Jiu-jitsu does make a difference in a man, right?
It does.
And then you've got him.
Shout out Jen's son.
Then you've got buying property and being on Joe Rogan, who's a big Bozeman. Big shout out to my man Ted Nugent out there. Sold 40 million records in the 70s. He's a Bozeman, right? Knows how to hunt for food.
Yeah.
And so Zuckerberg gets caught up in that, and then he buys land out in Kauai and realizes, the ecosystem's a little bit of a finite situation.
Hello.
And so then he starts switching the other way, and maybe the tiptoe of free speech comes back. But dude, they were complete Nazis.
Oh, man. Nazis, dude. I lost all my shit. It was ridiculous. And I'm curious. I want to talk about, there's 2 people that come to my mind and I want to get your feedback on it because there's this new like movement. It's supposed to be like the Brian Johnson, the Don't Die guy. He talks about this whole fucking it's like the Don't Die Olympics, and people are now trying to reverse their aging and shit. What's your take on that? And you got this Grant Cardone guy, right? The 10X Health and shit. I'm curious.
Well, this is a big problem that I have with the internet. Gimmicks, gadgets, and drugs. Oh my! This goes back to the marketing, right? The get rich quick schemes, the Jesus in a bottle. Like, you can live a shitty life. Just take this one product that I'm going to market to you.
Yeah, and
you're going to live forever, right?
Yes.
And this is part of the marketing. And what, Brian Johnson was a marketing executive?
He's 850 million. He sold Zelle. No, not Zelle. It was Venmo. He sold Venmo.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know everything about the guy, but he looks like a vampire, and "don't die" as like in his moniker. Like, I want some life affirmative shit. We already have a society that is programmed by the death wish, the psychological warfare on the human being, right?
Yes.
So much so that now it's all socially acceptable to cut off your genitalia and shoot hormone blockers into children and confuse the hell out of you, instead of just being a fucking real man and a real woman and a traditional wife and a traditional man, you know, and have some real fucking values and pure food and stuff like that. No, it's all scientifically validated to fucking, you know, drink your child's blood and make digital currencies and, you know what? I don't know what the fuck everybody's up to, but listen to me. The whole don't die situation. Let's have life affirmative principles pump down these conduits of media now.
I love that.
And look, I have got contention with something like liquid death, right?
Oh yeah, the water.
So I got a product that's called Liquid Sunshine. The source of all life on planet Earth converts through photosynthesis chlorophyll, which is plant blood, which is a match for your hemoglobin. It's like a perfect molecular match. And there's an electron transfer of magnesium and iron in the blood, and the magnesium in the greens. And so I have a product that's called Liquid Sunshine, right? And to fucking market it, it's like fucking pulling teeth, right? You know, it's like, you got scientific proof for that organic fucking
What the
wheatgrass
fuck is
shit?
that shit?
Spirulina that they gave to astronauts. You got, you know, to keep, you know, they want to see reams of data, but then they come out with this fucking bullshit marketing, liquid death, and it's like #1 beverage at Coachella. It sells on Amazon. It's in Whole Foods. It's like sweeping the nation. And if you look at Emoto's work on water and how water is programmable, and he put images of I love you and I hate you on it, and the images that would come back and the crystalline structures of the positivity on it, the sacred geometry of the frozen water. I mean, water is programmable. And so if we're putting liquid death on the market and then this thing is doing great, like, who did the fucking marketing for that shit? This is the death wish that we have that's being propagated. And this is why I'm suspect of a lot of things that I see on the internet, including Brian Johnson, including Huberman, including people like this, because Huberman is on steroids, right? He shoots steroids. I don't have as much contention with Huberman about it because he's honest. Joe Rogan, same thing. He's honest. Right? Drugs work. Fucking cocaine and heroin and fentanyl fucking work. The side effects, though, they're not going to promote those, right? Ozempic works. They're starting to call these drugs now peptide hormone, peptide supplementation, right? Synthetic isolated drugs, right? That's what these things are, made in China, right? So you want to outsource your manhood to China? I don't think so, right? I don't think that's a good idea, because once you start taking synthetic hormones, you're subjugating your own body's ability to manufacture its own hormones and testosterone, your boner pills and shit. You want to get your boner subscription from fucking China? Go ahead. But the fact of the matter is, you may want to study the side effects. And anybody who's advocating for these things and not advocating for sunlight and grounding and all these other things. And I'm 60 this year. I'm living testament that it is possible, right? And peptides, they're shooting all these tanning peptides and all this stuff. And I'm living testament. You can get most of this stuff from the sunlight and from natural food and breath optimization. So you asked me about Brian Johnson and his don't die thing. I just think it's the opposite direction. I choose to live life affirmative principles. And so the sunlight, the grounding, the earth's magnetism, I'm an electromagnetic being, I'm a spiritual being in a physical body. How can I optimize that? Hippocrates said, let thy food be thy medicine. You are what you eat is an axiom that's not going away anytime ever. Let me get natural food. Let me get as many natural elements into my body. Let me optimize my sleep. Now, don't get me wrong. Huberman and these types of Brian Johnson, they have good things built into them. Gary Brecka has good things, but then they get intertwined with these fucking savage marketers, these psychological manipulators, and they totally confound everything. They send you these fake blood tests, or not that they're fake, but they're only designed to market you more shit. Here's your fucked up markers for your gene code, and then here's all your synthetic supplements and peptides and steroids that you need to optimize. That's not the truth, right? I'm selling the truth. I'm telling people the sunlight, the natural food is what you need. They're selling gadgets, gimmicks, and drugs. And
AI. It's fucking AI. It's define it. It's like they're fucking taking all the technology, making the AI, they're putting it together, and they're doing this stuff. And that's why I was curious because
these are enslavement tools, right?
there's no spiritual to it either.
These are death wishes. This is not where you're going to get fulfillment. You're going to get fulfillment from nature and God's creations, and
Yes.
aligning yourself with nature, aligning yourself with the natural conduits of life, the air, the water, and the soil. There's only 4 human needs: water, food, shelter, and fire. And technology can help us with all of that.
Yes.
Fire is represented with technology now because we're sitting around the fire. And man has always sat around the fire and told stories.
Yeah.
And these stories have helped us and further us into the future, right? The tribes would sit around the fire. There's a bear in the cave. Don't go by that bear. And they would tell a story around this. Now I'm just telling my story, right? My story is clean air, water, soil, and equitable systems for all mankind in my lifetime. That is the song I'm singing. That is what I'm sticking to.
Let's go, dude. 100%. Speaking of tribes, Jen behind the scenes, she's from a Native American tribe. She was on the Liftoff Experience. Shout out Jen. And so she knows all about the fire, and she all knows about the land and keeping it simple. I think there's so much to be said about just keeping it simple and just going out and being with nature. I love your philosophies.
Well, the tribes is where I got a lot of my information from. They're all aligned with nature. To go back to the origins, I work with the Shipipo that are living in their environment.
Yeah.
Yes, the commercial conduits have brought sugar in there that have fucked up their teeth and dentistry, and the missionaries have brought in the written word, which the Shipipo have the biggest folklore around herbal medicine, bigger than the Chinese. It's never been written down. It's all through spoken word, right? And so a lot of my knowledge, it's all aligned with ancient indigenous perennial wisdom.
Yeah.
It's been around forever. Primordial wisdom, right? And so we've gotten so far off the track, even so much that indigenous cultures have also gotten off the track. The broken treaties in the United States of America, and the giving of blankets with smallpox on them, and then the alcohol, and we've basically decimated those cultures. And look, I studied with many great chiefs, and Chief Phil Lane up in Vancouver, Canada. He told me when we were doing a film for the Mayan calendar in 2012, Shift of the Ages, it was called. He was filming at my house, and he says, ultimately, we're all indigenous. We are of the earth, and it's up to us as a responsibility to take care of this earth.
Amen.
You know, maybe some of the psychopaths on the planet are been mixed races with the Nephilim and the Anunnaki and all the other alien motherfuckers that landed out there in the Middle East, and all that Zachariah Sitchin shit and the Sumerian tablets. I don't claim to know all the shit, man, but there's a lot of suspect stuff that is like, you know, and maybe we should question this. But listen, speaking of indigenous cultures, I studied with the great Maori shaman, Papa Joe. Lovely man. Did many healings on myself, and I witnessed miracles and exorcisms with that man. And he was such a beautiful man, and he would do these long chants, and the tears would just start falling.
Wow.
And he told me that the human being is the most technological advanced piece of equipment in the whole entire universe. The computers and the cell phones are prosthetics compared to what the human being instrument can do. Einstein said we're only using 5% of our brain, and so
yes.
So the question is what can we do, and what can we create, and what can we do when we're aligned with natural-based life affirmative principles? The Gary Brecka, the Grant Cardones, you're seeing it unravel. You're seeing the half-truths and the bullshit and the lies unravel right in front of our face.
Oh, my God.
As they argue out on the internet. Gary Brecka is not innocent, right? He's part and parcel, part of this, give you a genetic test or whatever have you, and then sell you products on the back end that may or may not be beneficial for you. I have two friends that I know told me the stories. They get into 10X Health, they do the test, they spend $10,000 or they spend thousands of dollars or whatever. Then they get their drugs or their peptides or whatever nomenclature you want to put on them, and they get the wrong syringes and they shoot all their drugs in a week instead of a month, and they end up in the emergency room. I've heard that on 2 occasions. I've also heard people spending tens of thousands of dollars and not getting results.
Yes.
And so, and then I also see Gary Brecka trying to creep in and start talking about breath work, but he doesn't know anything about it. And I see inverted breathing patterns and stuff. And so, but I see them trying to capitalize on this natural element while they're bamboozling people and selling them $125,000 gadgets and gimmick products and stuff like that. And so this is all part of this sales bro bullshit that I see. And
I love
Brian Johnson, again, he's like Dave Asprey. These guys are marketing geniuses. They're tech geniuses.
Yeah.
And then they see this niche market and they want to start selling these biohacking, type of elements and like, oh no, I'm just doing research on myself, right? But what's the back end? They're selling products. This is a business for them.
Yes.
And so, and don't get me wrong, we all need these magical pieces of paper to survive in this world. And I'm here to change the Federal Reserve, which is neither, and it's all phony with no intrinsic value. But in the meantime, I do need boatloads of the shit to change the world, right? So there's the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
And so I'm not against business. I'm against deception.
Yes.
I'm against psychological manipulation, lying, cheating in very psychological ways, gaslighting and presenting things in Jesus in the bottle type situations and saying I'm not a marketer or I'm not this, but then you sell drugs like coffee and which is very profitable. And if you're good at marketing, then of course you can market the new and improved coffee.
Yep.
And so look, I just ask my brothers and sisters to be honest and to be forthwith and stop confusing and bamboozling the people to fuck them out of their money, right? Can we just be honest and egalitarian at one level or another? That's my big question. Can we actually do it? Can we succeed? Or
on below,
so because it breaks my heart to see a lot of the manipulation.
Amen, dude, 100%. And I really appreciate you going into that take because whoever's viewing and listening, I really appreciate your time. And, go follow the Certified Health Nut. Thanks, Liftoff Agent, who sponsored the show. Like, subscribe, notification bell. We want your commentary down below. And it's good to have the conversation. And that's why I wanted to have the conversation because I watch and just observe. And I like to do what you do. Just have your own opinion, observe, look, understand. And I'm not going to lie, I did buy the protein from fucking Don't Guy. I got his protein and then I wanted to try his longevity mix. I'm like, what is this about? Just to kind of get an idea. And I also know that you guys have an amazing product too with just all of the herbs and the different detox. And
well, if you guys want the truth, I will love to earn your business. Most everything except for my time is 100% satisfaction guarantee. Right? I'll send my book to people if they can't afford it. So my videos are free. My whole business model is so I can make more content for people.
Yeah.
I'm a YouTuber at heart, right? So my objective is to get back to making long form content. And so, but all my organic natural products from our farms to your family, straight delivered, those are 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Any of my digital courses, you buy them and you don't like them, give your money back. That's no sweat off my nose, right?
I love it.
And so, I am on my DMs. People are asking me questions all the time.
I asked him to be on the podcast. He's here. It's living proof.
And so, and that's what Gary Vee talks about. And I've been doing what Gary Vee said, following hashtags, answering questions, and engaging my audience for 20 years. I am truly here to help.
Congratulations, man.
I had problems, paying my bills and going through a divorce and one business went up and down. The path of the entrepreneur is tough sometimes. And so I have focused on my entrepreneurial endeavors and success and building something that is solid, for decades. And so it's not easy. And I pride myself on the truth, not deception.
Yes.
And so I am here to help people, and I'm creating an army of wellness warriors. You want to work inside this industry with me and my team who've been at it for 2 decades. I teach a course on personal branding and authentic marketing. You can find that on School, High Vibe Hustlers. I have brand partners that work with me with my organic superfoods and herbs. We have a juice cleanse that I work with. My average client loses 25 pounds in the first 30 days. My athletes gain muscle.
Let's go. Links are down below for all this, by the way.
Yeah, who can say that for nature? Not a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Natural stuff. You can get on some Ozempic and do that. You can get on some drugs and some peptides. You can get on some steroids,
Yeah.
right? But can you do it naturally, right?
Mhm.
That's what I guide my people to do, is do it naturally. All my systems are nature based. And so I encourage people to recognize the difference between chicken soup and chicken poop, because there's a difference.
Oh, let's go. No, I'm right there with you, man. Ever since the day one, I mean, even Jen, who's behind the scenes right now, I'm who you are is what you see on and offline. And it was funny because, before we got on the air, we were talking about some things and, and you looked me up, you watched some of my content. Then it's crazy because he was supposed to be on a couple months ago and then you had a speaking engagement. So you went out of town and then you came back. And then what's the likelihood that I was going through something personally that's very similar to what you're going through? And then I got to help and serve and add value to you. And then now you're adding value to me and to Jen and everyone who's viewing and watching. And it's just an organic process.
Yeah. And again, big shout out to Michael and Jesse, because I actually came out here and did a speaking engagement and
Wow.
met Jesse 10 or 11 years ago. Big shout out to Keith Walters.
Let's go.
Keith was a banker, tons of money, right? And he fried his nervous system and burnt out and got into running and did rim to rim to rim. And he's just a big health guy. Worked for Aubrey Marcus and On It for a while.
Okay, yeah.
Actually, I'm meeting with him tonight. And he introduced me. He had me speak at Kaleidoscope Juice. And then Spiritual Gangster was there at that building at the same time.
Wow.
I gave a presentation. This would have been in 2014. Met Jesse, and I've been friends ever since. So I think that is just a fantastic community. And Jesse has never faltered in just being an honest, very, awesome gentleman. Michael is the same way.
Yeah.
So big shout out to Jesse Meringue and Michael Ravello.
That's amazing. I actually know Michael because my wife's best friend was dating him. And so when we first moved out here, that's how we got connected. And he just sometimes just gives me a call just to check in to see how I'm doing. And he's successful. He's busy. Has a lot going on. It just speaks a lot about his character. And I love associating myself around individuals who are like that. Just organic and real, man. It just speaks so much for their character and who they are.
Yeah, they've got a great New Year's event. They take everyone up to nature in Sedona at the Wet Crack or Wet Beaver Creek.
Have you gone yet?
I
haven't gone yet.
I taught for them in 2022, I do believe.
Ah.
So New Year's Eve 2022, I went out and taught breathwork, and Joe Polish was there, and it was good. You're walking 50, 80 people all the way back to Wet Beaver Crack. It was cool.
Dude, I love that. Okay, so for people that are invested, now we're an hour and a half in. Let's give them some. This is just some steps, some steps to get just back into balance. Go this just organic, healthy way. What would be some practical actions people can take today to change their health and vitality and just well-being overall?
Well, speaking about steps, I guess there's some consciousness out there about 10,000 steps. I think walking is the best exercise. I think if you go out there and move your body for an hour, you walk around the block or you walk anywhere, walking is the best exercise. Why? Because it's de-stressing.
Yeah.
And most people are elevated cortisol from the blue light from the phones, from the cell phone radiation, the contamination of the air, the water, and the soil. People are stressed out. So get into a walking practice.
Okay.
Get into something that's consistent, some type of movement practice. Your body... the purpose of exercise is to move the lymphatic fluids. You're mostly water, and that water's got to move. A stagnant body of water turns into a cesspool. So exercise is a necessity, not a luxury. So moving your body every day, walking is just a good dumbed down way to just get out there. I do at least an hour after dinner every night, and I usually go to the gym every morning.
Me too.
So, so movement, don't mess around with your sleep. Lots of research on circadian health. 10 a.m. is kind of the latest. 10 p.m. is the latest you want to get to bed.
Okay. As
a good marker. If you want to restore yourself, if you're not in the best health, an overweight body is a stressed body. If you are, you can get circadian stress, nutritional stress. There's 7 factors of stress I put in my book. And so you want to get good sleep. That's the bottom line. And because of digital communications and blue light, these things affect our hormones.
Yep.
And if you want to repair, you want the anabolic phase of life, it's going to be in your sleep. My students that are really off base and sick and overweight,
Yeah.
I start targeting them towards 8:30 when
Wow.
the sun goes down. Right?
Okay. Earlier.
Earlier, because the more sleep you get before 12, the more restorative.
Okay.
If you're looking at longevity and you're looking at real power, and we have yin and yang.
Yeah.
If you're yanged out to dry, you're burnt out,
Yeah.
right? If you're facing burnout, etc., then the best way is to replenish it with yin. And
Okay.
sleep is the feminine reset, the anabolic reset.
I love that. I love that.
You're going to want to switch to organic food.
Okay.
Fuck around and find out. If you're not eating organic food, or if you're listening to the propaganda that it doesn't matter and all the food is not a difference, there's tons of research on the BritishSoilAssociation.org website, right? Organic, there's tons of research. It makes a huge difference. Joel Salatin, I did an event with him recently, and I interviewed him a couple times on my YouTube channel. He's the polyface farmer, the lunatic farmer, they call him. They took eggs from his farm, and they took 12 surrounding farms in Virginia, the Shenandoah Valley.
Yeah.
The riboflavin alone was 1,200% more than any other farm. Riboflavin is essential for anxiety and depression. And what do we have? We've got massive amounts of depression and anxiety. Buy organic, buy farmer direct, buy natural food, work with your farmers. Even if they don't have organic certification, interview your farmers, go to your farmers market, find out if they can sit there and look you in the eye and say, we're not feeding our animals GMO soy, GMO corn. We're not injecting them with antibiotics. We are doing things in a proper way. Buy that food, taste that food, watch your life change.
Wow.
Get organic nutrients. Like I said before, I can help you save money and time at the grocery store with organic superfood nutrition. Work with me. I will change your life and blow your fucking mind and your family's mind with the level of nutrition I'm working with.
Let's go. I love that. So far, I'm on the 3, so I'm doing pretty good so far.
So as men, it's a good idea to understand where there's no vision, that people will perish. It's very important for men to have purpose. I postulate that women having children, that is job number 1. That's going to further the species together. So helping women focus on their fertility, and if they're going to have children, don't farm them out to nannies and schools that are going to demand paperwork for the vaccinations and all that other bullshit. Focus on raising children. Not that women can't have a career. I'm not trying to say that. I'm not trying to be anti-feminist, even though fuck feminism, and I think that's psychologically fucking up the human being. I think mommy job is number 1. Number 1 fucking job is women and their children. Right? How do I know this? Because I played Mr. Mom, and I was a stay-at-home dad, and the kids didn't give a shit. As soon as mom came through the door, they wanted mom. And there's a very important thing about that.
Yeah.
There's an energetic component, and so I support moms at 100%. And then with men, they're going to need purpose. And aligning yourself, instead of chasing paper, with that which you love from your heart and your effortless genius, you're going to live a more fulfilled existence, and you're going to be more cooperative to society in general when you're doing what you love. I'm not saying quit your day job right now, but start aligning your heart and your mind with your values, and watch it unfold. Write your eulogy. The exercises are in my book, but legacy is the most important. Called another way is purpose or dream. Those things are very important, and it's very important for men. Men need purpose. And so that is a critical component that now makes organic food non-negotiable, now makes good sleep non-negotiable, now makes movement non-negotiable. You can't help people from an empty cup.
Yeah.
You have to fill up your cup first. You know this. You know this as a man.
Yes.
If you don't have pure water and you're drinking tap water, it's going to fuck up your gut microbiome. It's going to blow out your guts. And if you have a distended stomach and you're over 15 pounds overweight, just Google it. It's a huge heart implications, health implications. Being 15 pounds overweight, and most people are 30.
Wow.
It affects your heart disease, stroke, diabetes, all these things, Alzheimer's later on in life, etc. And it's going to cause problems. And then you're going to be a drag on society and a drag on your family. If you want to be a strong man, you're going to need all these non-negotiables, and you're going to get your drive from getting clear on your purpose, your dream, and your legacy.
Fire.
From there, breathing mechanics is important. The way your mind is set up, understanding neurolinguistic programming, psychological marketing, psychological warfare, understanding propaganda, reprogramming your mind through hypnosis, conscious language, neurolinguistic programming, speaking into existence that which you wish to see. I'm a walking ball of forgiveness. I shine like 10,000 suns. You know, I believe that something miraculous is going to happen to me tomorrow, today, the next day, every day. I believe that something miraculous is going to happen to my children. I believe something miraculous is going to happen to you, Norman, today, tomorrow, every day.
Likewise.
Everybody listening, I believe that you are a walking miracle. Oftentimes we're looking for miracles and you're walking around in one, baby. So adjusting your thinking and then going back to relationships, having gratitude for what is and forgiveness for what was, and knowing that we're in symbiotic relationship with everything and everyone. And then knowing that we are electromagnetic beings. Source of all life on planet Earth comes from the sun, electricity, and the magnetism from the earth. So it's a good idea to get grounded and energized in those components. And that is the 9 pillars of health. Hopefully I didn't miss anything.
Wow. That was phenomenal, man. I was kind of getting a little like emotional there at the end. I really appreciate the blessings. And yeah, definitely you're onto something big, man. I like you as the president of the earth. I think this is good. I accept that. You have my vote.
Thank you. Thank you. We can all have a chuckle of it. Like the platform doesn't exist, but I created it. Yes.
Why not?
Actually, nobody can run against me unless you run against yourself, but everybody can run with me.
Hey, I'm running. That's why you're here. That's why we're doing this, man. And the fact that we love cars too is awesome, and it is amazing. And everything you're doing, I just want to go deeper into the process because it feels so right.
Yeah, imagine the magnificent things that we've created in the industrial age, right? Imagine we have the gift economy, we freed ourselves up, now we have all this creativity. Let's get into fucking GTR fucking spaceships, dog. You know what I'm saying, dude? Electrogravitics and fucking
Let's go!
and warp speed around
Hell
the
yes.
universe.
We gotta have more fun, man. Get past all this, and then you neutralize. You're like, all right, we're gonna fucking warp speed, man.
Fucking 8 million fucking Corvette fucking iteration, right? Fucking warp speed, interdimensional fucking power, dude. Fucking
On off-road, in water, out of space, whatever you want, man.
fucking through and then going interdimensionally, so there is no crashes, there is no speed limit, dude.
Ooh, I like that. Fuck the speed limit, dude. Go as fast as you want and just
Dude.
freaking lift off, bro.
Dude, when I get in my car, I'm like, wow, fucking, you know, that intoxicating horsepower feeling. You're like, dude.
Dude, it is something else, man. And speaking of that, we're gonna have to go take a ride in the GTR if you're down.
Woo!
We'll see you on the next one. Troy Casey, man, the myth, the legend. Thanks, Jen. Behind the scenes. I know we don't have an outro, but we gotta do an outro, man. Go follow this fucking guy. We'll
God
see you
bless
all.
all you guys
God
out there.
bless. Go
Power to
lift
the
off.
people.
Let's fucking go.